Welcome to the Baron's Hideout Podcast. I'm your host, Spike, aka Dustin.
And I'm your co-host, Jordy, aka Aaron.
Oh, did I
Wait,
get
I
the
thought I
names
was
mixed
Spike.
up? Yeah, sorry. Aaron
I'm Spike.
is Spike, and I'm Short. Alright. And today we're going to be covering, if you can't tell already, killer clowns from outer space. And we got some goofy stuff going on right now. We got a bunch of glow sticks, some popcorn, the masks. I got my Killer Clowns from Outer Space shirt from Cavity Colors, which is amazing. I was supposed to get costumes, but I ran a little short on Monday, and yeah, so sorry about that, guys. But yeah, today's gonna be a super fun episode. Let me just do some quick audio balancing. We should be relatively good, so hopefully everybody is having a nice week. This is like the first week of fall officially, and it feels absolutely amazing. Have you felt the air at all, Aaron?
It feels a little more. It feels cooler and like crisp, I guess. I'm just waiting for the leaves to start changing.
Yeah, and I can definitely tell some trees are, and I'm like, yes.
It's like in patches. I feel like you go on one street, it's all green, and the next one's they're all dying.
Yeah, it's awesome though. I mean, I love fall, and
Good feeling.
there's a lot of crazy shit happening very, very soon, guys. Like, this is the last week of things being somewhat normal for pretty much the both of us, because next week starts Salem Horror Fest. And I'm not sure if Aaron's going to be able to attend the physical events as of yet. We still have a little bit of time to hopefully get him a pass. If not, he'll definitely be viewing all of the virtual stuff.
Of course.
But I will be covering pretty much everything that's going on at the end of every weekend. So yeah, that's going to be super duper fun. I was going to do some video recording, but after viewing the schedule of how the movies are planned out, I'm not sure I'm going to have a lot of time to really get around to just filming outside locations. I can't do any interviews just because of obviously COVID and everything like that, so it's going to be a little tough. But we do have a really cool guest that's going to be coming on soon. I don't want to announce who it is or any dates or anything like that, but maybe you guys can guess with all the talk that we've been doing with Salem Horror Fest. Maybe you can put two and two together. But yeah, we have a lot of really cool shit coming on, and I really can't wait. Are you excited, Aaron?
Oh, of course.
Look
Look at my face.
Yeah, Salem Horror Fest is always the best time of the year for us two over here. And last week we had Scorpion BLS on our podcast, which was super duper fun. And a couple days after we put that out, I actually went and re-uploaded our Salem Horror Fest Patreon that we had. I decided it would be kind of a cool idea to go and put that out for everybody right before Salem Horror Fest, because we're not really doing the Patreon exclusive episodes anymore, just because of time and everything lately has been really, really rough for the both of us to try to squeeze in other things. Unlike tonight, we're doing a double feature, and we do these every now and then to kind of let you guys have a bonus episode throughout the week, especially when things start getting hectic. So we're doing Killer Clowns from Outer Space first, and then we're going to take a little break.
And we're gonna do Hellraiser.
Yeah, and it's two completely opposite movies, but I think it works out for the best. I'm actually going to take this mask off now just so I can see what is going on. And as usual, we always stream this stuff live every Saturday at 9 p.m. We're doing it early today. We're doing it, what is it? It's almost like 8 o'clock right now. And yeah, so I cannot wait to get this episode up and running.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it is. It's super fun. I've seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space a lot. Aaron was his first time viewing this one. We've both seen Hellraiser multiple times. But I think out of the two movies that we're doing tonight, if I had to pick one that I could watch over and over again, as much as I love Hellraiser, I gotta pick Killer Clowns from Outer Space because of how fucking goofy it is.
Yeah.
And just outrageous it is. It's super fun to watch.
Yeah, for entertainment purposes, definitely Killer Clowns. But
Yeah.
Hellraiser, if you're like in the mood for something a little darker, but obviously, but
Yeah.
still a little lighthearted, not lighthearted, but like goofy, but
Yeah.
like not quite as
Crazy.
Yeah.
But before we jump into all that stuff, since we skipped it last weekend, we're gonna go into all of our socials where you guys can find us, things that we enjoy that we want you guys to know about, and I think we'll start off with obviously our most important one that we're on a lot is Twitter, especially now that Aaron's on Twitter, and we're gonna get him to do some more posts and kind of come to the horror community a little bit more, and I cannot wait for him to be included with everything else that I'm included in on there, especially since I'm always talking to people over there with other podcasts and other small creators and stuff. It's really, really fun.
Yeah, so help me get started. Give me a follow.
Yeah.
We'll get to that, though.
Yeah, so where you can find us on Twitter is just the BHO_podcast. And I'm on there every single day. Even if I'm not posting, I'm definitely talking to other people in comments or DMs or anything of the like. Aaron has been on it for about a week now, and he's done a couple of posts, I think.
Yeah, I've retweeted a few things, but I haven't like quite gone back into the swing of it yet. But I'm getting there. I'm working on it.
Where can people find you so they can get you to do some more posts?
All right, so you can find me on Instagram and now Twitter. I changed my username for consistency purposes again, but it is I believe double AA row, but with the last E is a 3. It's kind of confusing.
That's okay.
But yeah, double AA ROW 3.
Remind me to add that to the link tree.
Yeah,
I'll have to do that. I should have already done that. But yeah, everything is also on our link tree, which if you just search the Baron Tido.
Or you can just find me on, our page. I'm on there somewhere, I'm sure I'm on like the follows list or something. So.
Yep. And obviously Instagram as well. I don't post as much over there. I do talk to some people throughout the DMs on there. That's pretty much the easiest way to message me that I will know if you message me, because sometimes Twitter doesn't really give me the notification that, hey, you have a message. So if you do want to reach out to me or for the podcast or any kind of reasons like that, definitely Instagram is probably better. But you can just find us there on the, it's just the Baron's Hideout _podcast. And I usually, whatever I'm putting on Twitter that's like, that has a photo, goes right over onto Instagram. Where can people find you, Aaron?
All right. So, wait, didn't we just do this?
On your Instagram.
Oh,
let them know
sorry.
Your Instagram
Oh,
one.
my bad. Yeah. So it's the same as my Twitter now. Yeah. It is double AAROW 3. I post updates usually lately, or I'm gonna try and post the same thing on both Twitter and Instagram. Mm-hmm. But I usually post when we're about to go live and updates, stuff like that. And I post a lot. I've been posting a lot more on my stories lately, so you can catch pictures of my cats and different stuff going on in my life there. So
hell yeah, sir. And then obviously our Twitch, where we stream everything. All of our shows are through Twitch, unless it's like a special occasion one, then we'll do it off stream and just do it through Zoom for like guest purposes and stuff like that, unless they're comfortable with coming on like doing this live on Twitch, then we do that. But Twitch is just the Baron's Hideout _podcast, and we do this every Saturday at it's either 8 or 9 p.m. It's usually 9 p.m. But if we're doing a double feature, we start a little bit earlier just so we can get through everything. And that's where we are right now. So if you do want to come in and partake in these awesome podcasts and just throw some questions at us and
come hang out
and whatnot, then come over here, give us a follow, let us know that you guys are enjoying the content here, and
we'll keep posting.
Yep. And also YouTube, which is also just the Baron's Hideout _podcast, which is just the archive of pretty much all of the streams. But those will also be on our Patreon a day early, and I have to address this today because I don't think I put a post out about this. Maybe I did, but I don't remember. But our schedule is shifting a little bit for releases for Patreon and also just for everybody else worldwide. just to keep things a little bit easier for me, because I'm the one that's always putting the stuff out as soon as the stream's over. So what I'm doing, just to make things not so hectic the night of the stream, I'm posting everything for Patreon on Sunday, and then everything for everybody else on Monday. So those will both be like midday. Well, actually, Patreon will be a midday release, and for everybody else, it will be 9 p.m. I mean, not p.m. 9 a.m. Eastern time for everybody else. But for Patreon, you guys will still be getting everything early. So for everybody who is supporting us over there, I really do appreciate you guys so much. And you're not being left out, I promise. You guys are very important to us. I mean, everybody's important, but for the ones that do like to spend $1, get everything early, you guys are awesome. And anybody can do that. If you do want the stuff early, it's just $1 a month. And I don't think that's too much. I mean, I guess for maybe some people it is, but those are like the big ones. It's Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, and
Instagram. We got the
Instagram. And also, if you guys do want merch, I put up our new logo on some shirts and stuff over on our Teespring, and that's so cool looking on the shirts and everything. I love it, especially when you can change the color of the shirt and see how the colors kind of react to the color of the shirt. It's really, really cool. I'm gonna grab some for us probably. Oh, excuse me. Probably this week, and I'm super excited to showcase those. I guess there is one other announcement I can do that is going to be happening. Another guest that's coming on October 16th is Logan on drums. Well, that's what it used to be. Now it's just LK Drums. He is a drum streamer on Twitch, and he's obsessed with Halloween just as much as Aaron and I are. And we're pretty much not probably going to go through the whole movie. We'll probably go through certain sections of it that really resonate with all of us. So that will be on October 16th. I believe that's a Saturday. So that will be kicking off all of our Halloween reviews. Because the first 2 weeks, I'm going to be covering all of the Salem Horror Fest stuff for you guys. So that's going to take up most of my time. I don't think we'll be able to squeeze anything else during the week for any Halloween stuff. Even if we don't start off with the first Halloween, maybe if we do that in a midway point.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how things are going. I'll run it through you, and we'll let you guys know how things are going to be going. But we have 2 guests lined up right now. One of them we're not releasing it because we don't have a solid date for. But the other one, I will tell you guys, is LK Drums on Twitch. And he's super duper cool, and he's a metal dude, so I mean he fits right in with all of us, I think that's probably all that I have, right? Is there anything you want to add before we jump into this crazy movie?
I don't think so. I'm ready to jump on in.
All right,
if you are.
So definitely. So here we go with Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Aaron, I guess I'll start off on this one, and I'll have you start off with Hellraiser.
Okay.
And this movie is it's crazy, dude. So we open up with just some title screen, and some really good music by the band The Dickies, which I've actually listened to. It's like an EP that they have. It's called Killer Klowns from Outer Space, and they wrote one of the songs for this movie. I don't know if all the other ones are for this, but the one that's playing is just called Killer Klowns, and it rocks, man. I love it so much. I listen to it in the car every now and then. But as that's playing, we get like a zoom in shot, or it's like coming down, and we see this burger joint of these people just eating it, and the burger joint, of course, is called Big Top Burger. And I mean that's super fitting for this movie. It's just, it even like has like the aesthetic of like a carnival and everything with like the colors and everything. It's great. But as we're coming down on that, there's a cop that we learn his name later on is Mooney. But he's getting food, and he just looks disgusted with literally everybody there, like with the youth and everything. Because this guy's kind of an older cop. He's definitely been there a while. And he gets in his car, and as he's driving, there's this kid drinking a beer. He's like wearing glasses, and he's like carrying, looks like groceries. and he's drinking the beer, and Mooney's like driving up to the crosswalk, almost runs the kid over, but decides to stop just because he's I guess it's because he's a cop. Otherwise, he probably would have just kept going. But yeah, the kid like sees him. He's like, "Oh crap!" And he puts his beer away, and he like just walks across. And then Mooney's like I think he says like stupid kids, and then the kid after says like stupid cops, just like some stupid dialogue. But that's like our opening. Then we move over to, I believe it's like make out reef, like in like SpongeBob and stuff.
Oh yeah, like that classic spot that everybody goes to.
But I believe they call it Top of the World in this movie, which I think is also kind of a connection to maybe a circus. I'm not entirely sure. But there's a bunch of people there just like in their cars, and they're all like making out and whatnot, like what kids do. And then a fucking ice cream like truck comes in blasting like the ice cream theme at like this, like making a lot of innuendos to it, ice cream, and like saying like different ice cream types and everything. And everybody starts getting pissed off at them and throws popcorn and drinks and shit at them, and they're like, okay, well I guess I'm out of here. And the two people that are in the car, they're the crap, what are their, I know it's Paul and Rich, but I forget what their actual name is. It's like Terenzi brothers, that's what it is. I always forget like what their last name is, but yeah, Paul and Rich, they're brothers, and they're getting like kind of upset at each other, but then they're just like, hey, wait a second, what's this park here? Because they have two girls in the back that just like munching on the ice cream. Like, hey, they come out like, hey, what do you take us for? Like, you guys didn't say we're gonna be parking anywhere. And so they go, and we assume that something's happening in there, but then we transition over to Mike and Debbie. And Mike's got a pretty insane mullet, I would have to say. So he's definitely keeping the mullet alive. This movie was, I believe, 1988, so it's getting kind of towards the end of the era of the mullet, I think.
They're coming back, though, it seems. I've been seeing a lot of mullets lately.
Yeah, I definitely have been. I've been seeing that too. A lot of kids, like a lot of kids, like parents, I guess, just like, hey, let's just get our kid a mullet, just 'cause I guess
that's what's in style.
That's what's cool now. But yeah, they're making out, and then they just stop and look at the stars, and they're just talking, and then all of a sudden a shooting star goes across, and you're like, oh my god, let's go figure out where that is. Let's go follow the shooting star. So they're like, I think Mike at first was the one that was like saying it, and then Debbie was like kind of like, oh, I don't know. But they decide to, so they pretty much move to the front, and then they start driving away. But then we get cut over to I totally forget this guy's name, but he's an old dude, and he's got a dog named Pooh.
Pooh.
So he's at his house, and he also sees it, but he's also like reading like a magazine that just talking about like Haley's Comet. He's like, oh my god, it's Haley's Comet. So I was like, okay, Pooh, let's go get it. So he runs into his house, right? And he's grabbing like a shovel and everything, but as he's leaving the house, if you look very closely, you can see that the prop master for like the movie in his house handing him the stuff. So it's kind of funny. This is a very low budget movie too, just so everybody is clear. It's a super fun low budget movie because I always forget how to say their name. Is it the Chiodos brothers? I always forget how to say their name.
Well, are you talking about the actors or?
Oh no, the directors.
Oh, the directors. Sorry. Chiodo.
Chiodo, that's how it is. So yeah, the Chiodo brothers. This is actually the only movie that they've done. Well, for themselves, they've done like special effects for other people.
Yeah.
And what I just learned before we jump into the rest of this movie, what I just learned is that I guess Amazon bought the rights to Killer Klowns from Outer Space, and I guess they're gonna be doing this. I think it was the sequel to this movie. There's supposed to be a show and also a prequel of like where the clowns came from. So I'm hoping that really does come to fruition, and that the Chiodo brothers can actually, be part of that, because their special effects in here are great.
Yeah, considering it was the 80s and they had a low budget,
Yeah, and they designed all of the special effects in this movie, which is absolutely amazing. Yeah. So the old guy gets his dog, and then he gets the shovels and starts running away. Then we jump back to, I believe, Debbie and Mike talking about the comet even more. I think they actually, I think they arrive actually at the spot, and that's kind of like right before the old guy and his dog Pooh get there. Actually, no, it's after. I'm sorry, but now the old guy and Pooh. I'm just gonna say Pooh from now on, just because it's like way easier. They arrive at the circus. He's like, "Oh my God, it's a circus," and they're kind of just looking around and whatnot, just like investigating. And he's like, "What the hell is this?" And then his dog is kind of like left behind him, and then like a part of this tent opens up, and one of the clowns has like a fishing net.
And then they
like,
just scoop him up. And...
yeah, he just scoops up Pooh, and the old guy's like, "Pooh, where'd you go?" And he's like, "They got Pooh." And he's like all flipping out, and he starts like punching the tent and everything, but it's like super hard and like breaks his hand practically. And then he grabs like one of the what is the things that like hold the tents in the ground?
Oh, like the posts.
Yeah, the post. He grabs a post and it just zaps him, and it's like super funny because like the effects are kind of cheesy, but it's great. So he goes down and he gets zapped, and then the clown that captures Pooh captures him. So we got pretty much the first. We can probably say kills in this movie. I would say the first 2 kills.
Yeah.
Because we'll learn later what happens when they get zapped into cotton candy cocoons and shit. But leading from that, we are now at the police station with Mooney, who's bringing in these punks. And I don't know. I guess Mooney isn't the. I don't want to say sheriff because we only see like 2 cops in this movie. But he's definitely like. I would say higher rank, but there's another person there named Dave, who is I guess is more in charge. He's a lot younger than Mooney, even though Mooney has definitely been around for a while, it seems.
Yeah, and that's probably why he doesn't have as much power.
Yeah, so Dave is there, and now he's like, what are you doing with these punks? And he's like, well, I caught them drinking in around town and everything. So Dave asks him, like, why aren't you from like the university? And they're like, yeah, but like we live in the town and everything. It's like, well, why couldn't you just like stay down the university to drink? It's like, well, because we live here, so that's why we want to do that. I don't know if that's really a reason to arrest somebody. I mean, this is the 80s. What would...
People were doing a lot worse things than
yeah,
drinking.
It didn't look like they were young kids. They looked like they were about age. So like, I don't know. Especially if they're in college, you would think that they would be at least 21.
Yeah, maybe he's just being a dickhead.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell from like early on in this movie that Mooney just does not like kids or like really anybody.
She's a grumpy old bastard.
Yeah, so Dave takes the kids and puts them in the jail cell, and then you can just kind of keep realizing as like Dave is putting the kids in there, Mooney's just like saying stupid shit about kids and everything. So you can tell he just does not like kids. So then we jump back over to Mike and Debbie when they officially arrive at the tent. I actually kind of jumped a little bit earlier, but they arrive in like at a gate, and they're going down like, okay, well, I guess we kind of have to walk from here. So they go on foot, and then they find a tent where Pooh and the old dude were captured. So they decide, hey, let's go check out the circus. But Debbie's kind of just like, I don't really want to go in there. And if I have to put myself in the shoes of them right now, I would probably be with Debbie, because if you have been living in this town your whole life,
where nothing happens, and then suddenly there's a circus in the middle of the friggin' forest, you know?
Yeah, like in the weirdest spot imaginable. Like, yeah, they knew that they were going to find like a shooting star, but they're like, oh, well, we stumbled upon this circus. Like, I would have kind of put 2 and 2 together, maybe.
Yeah, right. That's shady.
But I would just be like, I'm not going in there, dude. You can go in there if you want, but I'm gonna go home and not start shit.
Right.
I feel like you're kind of like on the same side with me on that one, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just gonna peace out, go home, and I'm gonna go sleep.
Yeah. I'm not trying to turn into a cotton candy cocoon.
And then be drunk.
Yeah.
So yeah, they arrive there, and then Mike convinces Debbie, like, hey, well, if I go in there, you're going to be here by yourself. So would you rather be by yourself with me? She's like, well, I guess I'll be with you. So I guess that's kind of like a dick move. I would be like, okay, if you don't want to go in, we don't have to.
Yeah.
But he just
Kind of
really wants to
pressured
go
her
in
into
there.
it, yeah.
Yeah. So they finally reach inside, kind of looking around. Like, it looks really cool in there. It's like, oh, wow, this is a circus. This is like one of those, like, European, like, circuses. Like, what? He says something, like, weird.
I love how as Americans we blame anything, like, out of the normal. Oh, it's those damn Europeans.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, it's got to be on the other side of the world, right? That's definitely not us. So, yeah, they're kind of walking around, and they come across, like, 3 elevators. And Mike's like, what the hell is this? And he's like, oh, there's buttons. And he just, like, starts randomly pressing buttons. But apparently he presses them good enough to bring them to, like, the core of the ship. And it's a really cool scene, too, because it's, like, a matte painting of the core and everything. It's, like, animated and really cool. So this is kind of like a cool, like, special effect area that they have. And it's also, like, them walking on the side and looking in the core. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, we're definitely not in a circus anymore. It's like, no shit. Like, there's a giant, like, Tesla thing.
Like a coil.
Yeah, and it's just there, and it's, like, zapping and everything. Like, yeah, well, this is definitely not it.
It's powering something.
Yeah, and Debbie, I guess, is so smart. She's like, whoa, this is actually the shooting star. It's just like, oh, yeah, I guess. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I'll just look at it and be like, that's a little weird. Like, there has to be some sort of, like, explanation as to why this is here. And, like, a shooting star just seems a little far-fetched for me.
Yeah.
But, regardless, they decide to go back because they're like, well, we kind of can't go here. So they go back down, and then they start hearing people come towards them. And then Mike's like, okay, well, let's press another button in this elevator. And then it zaps them to the holding room. And they don't really know what this room is other than all the cotton candy that's around. Like, oh, this must be a cotton candy factory. Like, what? After seeing this
they
giant...
just keep loose cotton candy everywhere.
Yeah, after seeing this giant room with a Tesla coil in it, with if you were to fall, you're like in the Death Star, you're going to go right down and die. You're going to think, oh, yep, cotton candy factory. That's exactly what I'm going to think. So they're looking around, and Mike wants to prove to Debbie that this is what he's saying it is. Like, yeah, it's a cotton candy factory. It's like, no. This is not a cotton candy factory. So Mike grabs a part of the cotton candy cocoons, and it's a face of the old dude that got captured. And he's just, like, all red and everything. So I don't know if...
I think his skin was, like, dissolved or something.
Yeah, like, I really want to know, like... Is that his blood, or is that the cotton candy? Because, you know, when you have cotton candy, when it melts,
it gets
like
that, like, nasty white color.
It's, like, syrupy and everything. I wonder if that's what it is, or if that's, like, actually blood. So I'm very curious on that. Maybe the Chiros brothers can let us know. I might actually have to research that too, because that's kind of really cool. If it is the blood that's creating everything that's in the cotton candy without, like, seeping out, that's pretty cool.
Some tough cotton candy.
Yeah, but
down ain't got shit on them.
Yeah, as they do that, they go and discover another one who is of this guy that we saw in the beginning, Joe Lombardo, who was the guy that was drinking the beer when Mooney was driving away in the beginning of the film. So I guess they probably didn't really need to say who it was, but then we also learn a lot later on when they get to, like, when Dave is finally like okay, you're telling the truth when they're looking at the cars and everything. That he even says, like, that's Joe Lombardo and some other dude. So it's kind of weird that they wanted to say who it was, but yeah, as they discover that, one of the clowns comes out and discovers them, and they're like, fuck. So now they're being chased out of the tent, and as they leave the tent, I mean, they're clowns, and this is just really funny. One of them makes, like, a balloon animal of a dog. And it's like, it's running and like sniffing and everything. It's really funny, and they're also like shooting them with like popcorn and everything. It's so fucking funny, and that's why I have like popcorn and everything all over here to make it look like we got shot by the clowns. It's really really funny.
You know what's funny too is like at first like when they're getting shot at, they're like, "Oh no!" And then they see it's popcorn, they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
They're just more confused than anything. They're like, "Why is it sticking?"
It's like, why is it popcorn? And Mike's like, it's because they're clowns, which is it's kind of funny. But Aaron, if you want to take it away for a little bit here, I think they're going to talk to the people at the police, I believe.
Alright. So, Debbie, who wants to talk to Dave, that's the other cop, right? The higher up cop.
Yeah.
Yep. And tell them about the clowns and that they're off to get more food. Oh wait, no, that's a separate scene. My bad.
That's all good.
But, so there's a store with like an animatronic around it, and then one of the clowns is.
Oh, this is so funny.
I know. He's like standing right by the door, out in the open, imitating the like the animatronic. Like, was that another clown or something like that? Or
I think it was like a gorilla or something
gorilla
like that.
Or something. I don't remember exactly.
But I
what
think
it
the
was.
clown that's out there, I think his name is Rudy. I could be
Rudy.
wrong though.
But yeah,
There's a lot of clowns in this movie. They don't really tell you what the clowns are. I think it's kind of like more of a fan thing, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But either way, it's an enjoyable, like from what I've seen, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways, so and then he follows two girls into the store, and Debbie's telling Dave about the tent, and Mooney, of course, being, you know, Mooney, has to
Asshole.
put in his 2 cents. And he's like, "You're gonna make a dummy out of yourself, or make a dummy out of yourself, but you're not gonna make a dummy out of me." He's just a stubborn old man.
And that's definitely foreshadowing right there, because like all they're kind of talking about in the police station is just like, hey, those fucking clowns, and like, yeah, okay. And it's very stupid.
It's funny too because remember that shit a few years back when there was people going around dressed as clowns, like threatening people.
Yeah, that happened for a couple years. Like it happened for like 1 year, then there was like a break, and then I think it came back, and it's just like, why? Like, what's going on?
So, and then we got to a puppet show. And dude's watching it. Some guy's watching it, and then one of the clowns. Again, I'm not sure familiar with their names, but comes up and he's got like a puppet on each finger.
This might be Spike, maybe. I think
Spike.
It's that guy.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I think it's this one.
So he pokes his head up. He stands up from behind the, the puppet stand, and he zaps the guy, and he gets cocooned by some cotton candy.
The effects too with the cotton candy gun is really funny. It's just like purple like wires and everything.
Yep.
Like you can tell that this was very low budget and in the 80s.
That just makes it that much more enjoyable. Yeah.
I love it so much.
I love the tacky, like, cheap stuff, you know?
Yeah. Can we have, like, people just do that for the fun of it? Like, have, like, a really cheesy 80s, like, movie like this with really bad...
Like, a really bad plot, like, intentionally bad.
Yeah. And, like, really bad, like, effects and everything. I want to see that.
And just turn it into a whole ass... Well, I mean, that would be kind of campy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, this movie is Camp Central. Hence the reason why it's part of our Camp series.
Camp. But anyways, so he gets cocooned, and we got back at the store where the two girls had walked in, and the clown is chasing them. He's like knocking shit over, and
oh, it's so funny.
and then
the clerk too is just like freaking out, like
he's like, "What's going on here?" I would be freaking out too if there was a big ass clown following two girls around my store, but so then they end up getting cocooned by some cotton candy as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of cocooning. So then Dave takes Debbie home after, he's like, "Oh, I'll check it out." And so him and Mike head out, and they go and find... Oh, wait, that's a little bit later. My bad. Sorry.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, Mike finds out that she was with Dave, and then there's a pizza delivery. This part was funny. Is this lady, she answers the door, and there's a couple of clowns, just with a stack of pizzas, and her reaction just makes it. And it's just like, oh, pizza.
It's like, yeah, it's like the best like line ever. It's like giant clown holding a stack of pizzas, and all you can say is, "Oh, pizza." I would close the door and run. Especially the way that these clowns look too. Like I imagine them seeing it like on site filming was probably a lot scarier than it was for us, because like it's in person,
it's right there,
so
and
it's
they're
like when
freaking huge.
Yeah, it's like when you go to like a haunted house, like it's like more like obviously intimate and real because you're there. If it's like recorded, like the scare factor kind of goes down a little bit.
Of course, yeah.
So I can only imagine what these clowns look like on set, especially when they're being animated, with their smiling and everything. It's great. I love this movie. There's a lot of people who don't like it because of how overplayed this was in like the 80s and the 90s, but since like its cult status coming back within the last like 10 years or so,
Yeah.
people are starting to love it again.
And it's popping back up. Well, my dad says one of the director's brothers, I believe, played one of the clowns.
Yeah, I don't remember which one, but yeah, I think one of the Charnas brothers did. It might have actually been both of them at one point.
It wouldn't surprise me, especially where it's low budget and like, you know,
and it was their creations too, so
yeah, you know, we want to be part of it.
Yeah.
I would.
Oh, I want to dress up as a giant clown, like
Yeah,
an actual
go around shooting
one.
people. Yeah, right.
Cocoon them to death.
But so, Oh Pizza Lady gets cocooned by Shorty, who's this guy over here.
This little man.
And then we get some more deliveries.
Yeah, with one of the, I think it was like an older lady. We don't really see her get cocooned, but yeah, it's a guy who just. It's a box of chocolates, I think is what it was. I think it's that clown over there. I think he delivers it. And she's like talking to her husband off screen, like, "Oh, is this you?" And then the clown's like smiling and like laughing, and then we kind of see off screen that she gets like cocooned. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's like insinuated that they just go around fucking with people and going and just covering them, smothering them with cotton candy.
Hey, I kind of would not mind being smothered by cotton candy because I love cotton candy.
Yeah, but not acidic cotton candy.
True, you got me on that one.
But anyways, yeah, so we go on that little montage of the clowns fucking with people and kidnapping them. Mike tells Debbie to keep her door locked, and Dave's watching them kiss and just
like, just let it go, dude.
yeah.
It's like, you know, people.
'Cause they used to date, right?
Yeah, it's like people can like date other people, especially if you've fallen out and everything. But like, you don't gotta be creeped like watching.
Yeah, right.
Mike like tell her to be safe and everything, and then them kissing. It's like, just leave them alone, man.
Yeah, just get over it. So, Mike and Dave, or is that Mike and Debbie?
Mike and Dave.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I got ahead of myself earlier.
Sorry.
They go back to the scene of the circus, and the tent's gone. And it's just like a big crater.
Yeah, I mean, like the crater
itself, yeah.
Would
like
just make you think
like there was something here, you know.
It's like, you may not be telling the truth about the tent, but the crater will definitely raise some suspicion.
Yeah, and the fact that they didn't, you're just like, oh, darn, you know, there's nothing here, but...
Yeah.
Shucksy doodles. But yeah, so the tent's gone, and then, Shorty, who again is Dustin.
Oh my god.
Pulls up on a little tricycle, to some bikers, and then one of the guys decides to approach him, and he's like, he's just talking trash. He's like, "What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?" So Shorty decides to jump up, and out of nowhere just gets these like boxing gloves. He's getting ready. He's like air punching and shit, and he just fucking, the guy's talking trash and just punches his head off.
Oh, that's so good. That's probably like one of the best kills in the movie, to be honest.
Oh yeah, and it just lands in the trash barrel, and the other guys just start freaking out.
They're like, what?
And the way it lands so perfectly too. Kind of reminded me of that scene in Prom Night where his head rolls off of on the runway.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was such a good movie.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Listen to that review.
Oh yeah, we covered it. It's good. So, and then we got a little girl who sees a clown. They wave at each other with some creepy music in the
Yeah,
background.
I think this scene is probably the creepiest out of the whole thing because the music that's playing and the setting is this girl with her family. I believe they're at the Big Top Burger and everybody's just eating, but then it focuses on this one girl, and I believe your clown is outside like waving and like telling her to like come here and everything.
Pennywise?
Yeah, literally. It's so creepy. And the girl actually like starts approaching her. Luckily, the mom is like, "Hey, get back here. You're not going anywhere until you finish your dinner." So she doesn't even realize the clown is there.
Oh man.
But it's definitely, in my opinion, the creepiest part of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. They're waving at each other. But yeah. Mom stops her, and then is it Mike and Dave arrive at the top of the world with all the cars again, which is like the makeout point. All the teenagers go there to get laid, and but all the cars are open. There's nobody to be seen anywhere. And then there's just cotton candy all over a car. So then at this point, Dave's got to be thinking like, okay, maybe this guy's onto something.
Yeah.
Or,
especially what he finds in there too, with like the glasses and everything.
Oh yeah.
And that's when it kind of links even more to like Joe Lombardo.
Yep.
And that other dude. It's
the fact that they went missing and there's cotton candy in his car, But again, it's horror.
Yeah.
People don't think logically in these movies.
No. Otherwise, we wouldn't have horror movies, I feel.
I know. So, and then Mooney gets back at the police station. Or Mooney is at the police station, excuse me. And he's just ignoring calls, basically, because everybody's calling, talking about clowns going around and disturbing them and messing up with them, and he's just hanging up on people, and he's like, screw you. He's like, you're messing with me. There's no damn clowns out there.
Yeah. It's like, good job doing your job, dude.
Yeah, right. One guy's being chased by a clown on a bike. He's in his car.
Yeah, this is really funny.
He just has a clown just pull up next to him. He looks over, and the guy, he's just like riding in the air, like sitting down, like he's riding a motorcycle. So the guys were probably more confused than anything. He's just like shocked, and then the clown rams him off the road and just.
I think there's a Wilhelm scream in that too.
Mm-hmm. I love those.
I wish I could like mimic that. It's so hard.
And it still gets used to this day too.
Mm-hmm. It's great.
So he crashes, and then we cut to Debbie, who had a long day of discovering a circus and making out with Mike. Decides to take a shower. As she's getting undressed, her popcorn's still covered. Her popcorn is covered in clothes. Her clothes are still covered in popcorn, and then she drops her clothes in the hamper. There's popcorn all over the floor, and they start to like shake and like move, and
it's kind of cool. Like that effect is really cool. That must have took a long time.
I don't know what they use, like fishing line or something, and just like wiggle it.
I think it might have been Claymation, which would be even even harder because
more time consuming.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the masks are like with the clowns, if it's actually like animatronic or if it was
if they had like something in the mask that they can manually
like just keep moving with the smiles and everything. If it was like that was also Claymation or not.
But we'll have to look into that and the practical effects of the movie.
Yeah, it's really really good. I can take it away for a little bit if you want, Aaron.
Okay.
So then we decide to move on to all the clowns kind of even being crazier at this point, and they go to the back end of the Big Top Burger, and one of them decides to drop a bunch of popcorn into a dumpster while one of the employees goes to throw out trash, and he opens it and he's like, huh? And then it gets sucked in there. We don't know what's in there, but we know whatever the hell the popcorn is, it's not good. And then we have a really awesome scene here that it's like about like a minute or two long, but it's really really good. It's like at a bus station. It's a bunch of people who are waiting on a bus, and another clown pops up and starts doing like shadow puppets and like doing really good shadow puppets.
And everyone's like, oh, this is really cool. Like,
This is
regardless
fun.
of how crazy and scary the clown looks. So yeah, he's doing that, and then Mike and Dave are driving by as well, and see what's going on. And then Mike's like, we gotta go stop them, but Dave's like, no, I want to see what's going on. And as that is happening, the clown decides to turn into like the shadow puppet turns into like a dinosaur type thing and just gobbles everybody up, and then he like puts them in like a popcorn purse, which is really funny. And then Mike like freaks out and like makes Dave pretty much drive into the clown, but these things jump so high that it's impossible to catch them. So they're like, well, where the hell did he go? It's like, well, he went straight up, man. So yeah, that clown is completely gone. And then now, I think Dave goes.
He tells Mooney about it.
Yeah, I think he walkies in, and Mooney's like, yeah, I don't really care what's going on and whatnot. And then as they're doing that, we cut back to Mike and Dave with now the Kuenzi brothers, Paul and Rich, are driving around in their ice cream truck still, and they're getting mad at each other. Like, well, we're not making any progress here. You told us doing this was gonna like get us girls and whatnot. I was like, no. But then Mike's like, I'm gonna go over to them and get them to help us. You need to go back to the station and get some more help. So Dave's like, yeah, I'm gonna go do that, and you go talk to the brothers. And they're like, the brothers are like, I don't believe you, and whatnot. It's like, well, we gotta go save Debbie. She has some friends over, and they have really big boobs. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's go, man. Yeah, let's go. So we go back to the police station, and this is also kind of like another really cool scene too, with a lot of cool practical effects. Is as Mooney is ignoring calls, one of the clowns walks in. And he says like, huh, okay. And he decides to arrest the clown, but as he does that, he puts the handcuffs on. The clown like detaches its hands.
My favorite
somehow.
thing too is that the clown went with it. He's like, I can easily just destroy this guy, but I'm just gonna let him have his like moment.
Yeah, he literally just plays with him. So he brings him over to the cell where the punks are still being held, and Mooney is kind of like trash talking him. He like hits him a little bit, and he like, turns around, kind of like an exorcist way. And as he's trying to walk by, the clown has like one of those like blow party favorite things. Yeah. So he blows into it, and then it morphs into a hand, and it slams him against the
the bars.
Yeah, the cell. But you can tell it's super fake. He didn't even like
so you
hit
see
it.
the shadow of the bar.
Yeah, you don't really he's not really hitting it, but that's okay.
Adds to the experience. Just those little Easter eggs, you know.
And Debbie still taking a fucking shower. So like pretty much half of this movie, she's just in a shower. I feel like if she never left the shower, she would be fine.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Just stayed in the shower the whole time.
Yeah, so she's still taking a shower. Like every now and then we see like her like grabbing something, but it takes her 20 minutes to do that one thing. And then I believe Dave now arrives at the police station by himself. I accidentally wrote that Mike and Dave were there, but it's just Dave.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes there and looks on the ground, and it's this giant like footprints. He's like, what the fuck is going on? So he decides to follow them, goes over to the cell, and finds the punks cocooned. So they're now dead, and now he's even more like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm also like, what the fuck is going on? Because it's fucking crazy, and these clowns are crazy. So I mean, like, why wouldn't you be questioning these clowns? So as he leaves, he bumps into the clown and Mooney. And the foreshadowing that was before when Mooney said that you can't make a dummy out of me. That's false, because the clown literally made a dummy out of him by putting his hand through his back. And he's the clown's talking through Mooney to Dave, which is kind of cool. This is a really cool scene. It's really creepy too. I guess it's another creepy scene. But as Dave is kind of like, I think he's kind of talking shit to the clown, and the clown takes his hand out of Mooney's back. He decides to shoot at it, pops his nose off, and sparkles, and then he kind of explodes into like confetti.
I don't know, the way they die too is just
It's
so comical.
It's really, really funny. Uh, yeah. Okay, well, ask Mama, please. Sorry, but guys, my son came up to say he needs to get his teeth brushed. So now Mike and the brothers are now following the clowns, even though they're kind of saying to Mike that they don't believe him until they decide to pull, well, not really decide, but arrive at Debbie's house, because now Debbie is in a balloon. So she finally left like the house and discovered what the popcorn turns into is like these like weird like puppet things.
Like those what is it, like the aliens that come out of your chest, like the what are they called?
Chest bursters.
Yeah, the chest bursters.
Yeah, they're kind of like
they
that
look
too.
like them a little bit.
Yeah, so she as she's like escaping from those, she like gets captured by the clowns and gets put into a balloon. And now the group arrives, find Debbie in a balloon, and they're like, "Oh shit, Mike, you're telling the truth, dude." And they start following the clown car, which is like really, really fast, by the way. I wonder what kind of car they used. But yeah, we have like a little chase sequence with the clowns running away, and then Mike following them, and then as they get to a certain point, Dave starts to follow them.
He's just a stalker.
Yeah, it's really weird how he's just kind of
following everyone.
Yeah, he's just on the side of the road just waiting. I don't know what he was waiting for, but he puts on the sirens and they're going, and then the brothers are like, "Oh shit, the police!" And Mike can't see it, so otherwise he probably would have been like, "It's fine," because it's just Dave and whatnot. But yeah, they decide to stop very, very quickly, and then Dave crashes into the car, and his police car is now not usable, and the clown car got away. And it's really funny too, because Mike gets out and brings Dave, tells him like what happened with Debbie being in a balloon and whatnot. It's like, okay, let's get in the car. And then one of the brothers like is like, "Oh, I'm not feeling all that well," and he has like a bunch of like medical cards and shit that he's gonna show Dave. But Dave's like, "Yeah, I don't really give a shit. We're just kind of going." Then the clown car decides to arrive at an actual like, I don't know if this is like an abandoned amusement or if it was just like off for the night. But they arrive there and there's a cop, well, more like a guard, and he's like looking at the clown car because one of the clowns comes out, and he's just like, "Oh, okay," but then like more and more and more come out, so it's like an actual clown car, and then they all have pies, and he says, "What are you gonna do with those pies, boys?" And then they start throwing the pies at him. I was like, "Oh, this is kind of like, harmless," until you see that it starts to melt.
Pies.
He melts him to death, which is a really cool effect. And then Shorty comes along and puts a giant like cherry on top, which is really, really funny. I love Shorty so much.
Literally the cherry on top.
It's really funny.
Just makes it.
And then the whole group finally arrives at the new big top location for like the clown circus whatnot, and it's like a lot of cool like backdrops and like cutouts and everything, like dinosaurs and like really creepy shit. But it's really, really cool. Then they reach one door, and before that, one of the Kuenzi brothers presses a fucking button and like makes a bunch of like smoke come up, and like, what the hell is going on? It's like, "Oh, I didn't do it." Like, yeah, okay. So they open up a door, and as they do that, both of the Kuenzi brothers like fall down into a ball pit, and it's just it's two clowns with like in their boobs are like getting really, really, really big, and then one of the brothers is like, "Oh, are you Debbie's roommates?" It's like, what the fuck, dude? You can
That's what you're thinking about at this point.
You can clearly tell it's a clown, but it's just really, really funny. Then the remaining two, which is Mike and Dave, arrive at the actual holding room, and it's even more full now, and Mike is even like, "Oh my god, they must have the whole town in here," and Dave's like, "What the fuck? Like, what is this place? We need to find Debbie and go." So as they're trying to find Debbie, find the balloon, this part is really funny. One of the clowns comes through and has the crazy straw I have ever seen in my life. Like, I used to have some really crazy straws.
Good night, bud.
Good night, bud. Really crazy straws, and this one takes the cake. He puts it, well, first before he stabs it into a cocoon, he's like feeling the cocoons and like, is this one right? He's like knocking on them. He's like wiggling
Checking if it's
them.
ripe.
He's smelling them, and when I was like, what makes a good cotton candy cocoon? I wonder. But he finally picks one and just stabs it and just drinks like the whole thing. It seems like, and Mike and Dave were just like watching it with like awe, like what is going on? Like I don't know if I'd be afraid or just wondering like what
Yeah.
the fuck is going on.
I need therapy after seeing some shit like that.
Yeah, I probably would too, to be honest. Like, it's really crazy knowing that everybody's just melting inside and it's like you just drink them.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah,
So-
I wonder if it's just like if you were to pop one open, it's just liquefied human, just like
Yeah,
pouring
like-
out.
When he was like taking out the straw, you can kind of hear like liquid on the bottom, like shaking and everything. So it's like it must be like them, like just draining
Decomposing.
into like the bottom of the cocoon or
Yeah.
something.
Ugh.
Ugh. That must be really smelly too.
I know.
Ugh. Shit. But yep. The clown goes away, and then Mike and Dave hear Debbie and like, oh shit, well this is them, and Dave decides to pull a gun. While Mike's like, fuck no, you're gonna alert everybody, but it's the only way to pop open the balloon because like punching it and shit didn't work. So as they shoot the balloon, Debbie falls out, and Mike decides to hold her. So it's like Dave decides to hold her. So it's like at this point, what's the relationship here? Like, are all three of them together?
Yeah, thruple.
Yeah, is Dave with her? Is Mike with her? Or is she just kind of relieved to like have somebody? I don't know.
That's probably more what it was, I would think.
Yeah.
But you know,
I
you
get-
never know.
Yeah, you never know. But David decides to tell the other two to kind of just run off and like go. I'll take care of the clowns or whatnot. I was like, I'll just stay behind and shoot at them, because as they're running away, they're shooting the clowns and popping up the noses, and even more glitter and shit like goes off. And then they decide to go down this other hallway where Mike opens up a door, and all he keeps saying is, another door, another door, another door for like 5 times in a row. It's like at this point you kind of have to expect like
Another
funhouse
door.
things.
Yeah, like carnival shit, like a house of mirrors or something.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
I Shrek the Musical.
Thank you for stopping in, everybody. Whoever's coming here. It means a lot to see other people kind of just pop in the chat and everything in this talk. So we will have questions at the end of each of these movies if anybody wants to chime in. But yeah, they decide to go through the last door, and then they get surrounded by all of the clowns. And this is kind of creepy as well, because there's a lot of clowns. Like, I don't know if they were playing like a trick on us, like photography wise, if it was really just a couple of clowns and they just like did something to make it look like more or whatnot. But there has to be like 20 to 30 clowns here now.
Oh yeah, I wonder if
So-
they took the time to name all of them.
Yeah, and like even making all of the faces, if it was like each
So
individual
distinct,
one
yeah.
was like handcrafted in that kind of way, like holy shit, these boys are really good.
Yeah.
So as they are like, hey, we gotta get to the top of like this this pedestal that they're on. So they reach to the top and they're like, oh, well, I guess we're kind of dead now. No. The boys come through the wall in the ice cream truck, and they're all like, they have kisses and shit all over them. So you imagine they must have like did something with the clowns or whatnot.
Oh man,
and
they
they
clowned
decided
around.
they got out of there scot free. You know, like I don't know what the hell could they have done. Did they just like?
Do you want to know?
I mean, I kind of do. To see what the fuck they did with those clowns to get them to let them go.
Well, they're the horny Terenzi brothers,
Yeah, I know, right?
and they were stuck with clowns with ever-growing titties.
Yeah. But as they're talking on like the loudspeaker in the ice cream truck, and it's making all like clowns' ears like wiggle and everything, and they're like saying, because they have a clown on top of the ice cream truck too, so they're trying to make it seem like they like a big clown, a very important one, like listen to me or whatnot, to let the others go. So they go away, and then all the other clowns run away because the big boy is in town.
Uh-oh.
Clownzilla. This is a really big fucking clown. It's like at the end of a video game when you reach the final boss.
Yup.
This is that. And
Clownzilla.
Clownzilla walks up to the ice cream truck, and the boys are still like, yeah, go away, and we'll let you guys live and like whatnot, just saying stupid shit. But the clown's not having it, and just beats the hell out of the car, throws it, and explodes. So at this point, like, oh well, those boys are dead. And then Dave, being the hero that he is, decides to let the other ones go. Like, there's a hole in the wall now because the car was like, like thrown across the room. It's like, just go and I'll take care of this. Go get the help and whatnot. So Dave kind of puts up a fight with the clown, not a lot, because he like runs out of ammo. And the clown grabs him, and then he takes his badge out and just pops its nose. It's like, wow, these clowns are very easy to defeat. All you do is pop their nose, and then they're dead.
Hear me out on this. I have an idea. A Killer Clowns from Outer Space, like, survival game.
Ooh.
So, like, sort of like on the basis of, like, Nazi zombies, where it's just like, you see how far you can get, but it's just endless waves of killer clowns, and you just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta shoot them in the nose to kill them.
Someone made a mod of that on like PC of like zombie mode and everything, like Call of Duty. That's great. I would play that a lot. But yeah, they Mike and Debbie make it out alive, and the top goes away. So like the spaceship is actually blown up, and then the clown car that they were chasing drops from the sky. And then Dave comes out. So I was like, oh, okay, so he survived. Yay. And then he decided that the brothers lived too. And he said the way that they lived is that they went into the ice cream freezer. So I guess that works if you are going to explode in a car and you have an ice cream freezer in the back. Go and
hide in it, and
I guess you'll live. And at the end of the movie, I still don't know at this point, like, is Debbie with both of the boys, or is Dave with
Dave, or she
like,
with
what's going
Mike?
on now, I don't know.
Happy ending for everyone.
Yep, everybody's happy. And there was supposed to be another movie made after this, but it was never made. But like I said earlier, maybe Amazon will be making that movie now, since they own the rights and the
History
TV show.
Of the Clowns, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see the home planet, dude. Like, how
I can only
crazy is that?
imagine.
But yeah, that's the end of Killer Clowns. It's about like an hour and 20 minutes. Very, very good fun. I love that movie a lot. I mean, like I said earlier, a lot of people either love it or they hate it, or I've just seen it so much that they hate it. But what do you think of this movie, Aaron?
Like I said, from what I've seen, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very very funny. But like, yeah, kind of reminded me of, like, I just watched Mars Attacks again for the millionth time the other day.
I love that movie. We need to cover that
good.
one soon.
But it kind of reminded me sort of like along the lines of the same type of plot, you know what I mean? Just like an invasion and like one town getting, like, that focuses on the one town of, like, so, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah, this is definitely a fun movie.
And I like, how I like the, like, campy, like the low budget, like practical
cheesy
effects.
cheese.
Yeah.
The cheesiest, the better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love this movie too. But if there's anybody in the chat who wants to chime in and say if you guys liked it or not, feel free to let us know. But what are we looking at for budget wise and all that good stuff, Aaron?
Let's see. All right. Go to the old IMDb.
All right. I know it was like very, very low budget.
Budget $2 million.
Really? Why does that seem a lot higher than?
It does seem high.
$2 million for 1988. I thought this was a lot lower than that.
Let's see. That could be wrong though too.
Yeah, is IMDb lying to us? I must be right. That's weird. Okay, I mean, I guess that's still...
I mean, considering, though, it's a movie, it costs a lot of money to...
Yeah, I guess so. But,
know.
Let's see, what are we looking at for Rotten Tomatoes?
Rotten Tomatoes. 76% on the tomato meter.
Oh wow.
That's only 25 reviews. And then we get 25,000 on the audience score. It's at 59%.
Wow. Okay, that's actually pretty good.
But let's see. But what would you give this out of blood splatters?
Oh yeah. What would I rate this?
I know
I
it's
love
one of
this
your
movie.
favorites, so
I love this movie a lot, and I love the aesthetic of it, and I love the colors and how the clowns look and everything. I think if I had to base it just on the clowns alone and not really the dialogue or some of the cheesiness of it, I'd probably have to give this like an 8.5, just because everything in this movie looks great. I love all the practical effects that are on here, besides some of the cheesy, like obviously animated stuff, like the cocooning and all that stuff.
yeah.
But the set designs are really cool. There's really not too much going on in this movie, so you can really focus on what they're trying to give you. There's enough character development that you can get along and kind of relate to these people in a way, sort of, unless you decide to take 6-hour showers. If you kind of take that out of the equation, this movie is really fun. If you've never seen it before and you want something goofy, lighthearted, also kind of really family friendly, like if you have like
Yeah, it's not that gory.
no
at all.
Like my son is gonna be 4, and I've watched this movie with him before, because it's nothing really bad. There's no nudity. I mean, there's some like innuendo stuff, but like at that age you're not
gonna
obviously
understand it,
understanding
yeah.
that. But just seeing the clowns and just the goofiness of it, you can definitely watch this as a family if you're looking for something like that. I would say this is definitely a gateway horror film. Just like the
They
same
want
way.
to start off with, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna put it on the same lines as like Corpse Bride or like Edward Scissorhands or anything like that. This is a little bit more, I would say, intense with that, just because there is a little bit of blood, some suggestive themes in it, and overall, it's really laid
Laid back.
Laid
It
back.
doesn't take
Yeah,
itself
that's what I'm trying to
seriously.
say. Yeah, it's very fun. It's super campy. I think I've watched this in like Blu-ray, and everything still holds up, besides, like I said, like the animated stuff. But all of the special effects, like the clowns themselves, look really good because they were handmade. They weren't like computerized and everything.
Just
And,
CGI and
Yeah, I love this movie a lot. So definitely 8.5 for me. But what about you, Aaron?
so I'm like I said, I'm a sucker for like the cheesy, like tacky, like old, like funny shit, you know. So this movie was perfect for me. I'm gonna have to watch it again and like do a like detailed walk through, like
For sure.
watch through. But you know, from what I know about the movie, you know, I mean, there isn't anything I don't like about it, you know. But no movie is perfect, so I'm probably gonna go, as of right now, an 8.5 as well.
All right. And let us know in the comments and anywhere that you're listening to this, whether it's here on Twitch or anywhere else. Let us know what you rate this movie. I love this movie a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of people who have seen this so many times that they can't stand it anymore, and I can relate to that. But this is one of those movies that I think no matter how many times I watch it,
You enjoy it every time.
I'm not gonna get sick of it just because of how fucking goofy it is and how great everything looks.
It's a good movie, like you said, yeah, to introduce people to, you know, horror and taper into
Definitely.
it.
I mean, some people will probably argue that it's not really a horror, but
But
I think it is.
Yeah, it falls into a subgenre of horror. Yeah,
it's a horror comedy. It's like Night of the Creeps and shit like that.
Yeah.
But
horror doesn't necessarily mean bloody and like
yeah, exactly.
jump scares, you know.
Yeah, so that's all that we have pretty much on Killer Klowns. I'm gonna shift some things very quickly, and then we are going to jump over and do some Hellraiser.